Dear students, welcome once again to my channel. Regarding voice, there are several classes taught by me. In my previous class, I have already discussed the very passive of future perfect tense, and today's lesson is all about passive of the transitive object. So don't be late. So let's start the very lesson. Dear students, welcome once again to my channel. Regarding voice, there are several classes taught by me, and today's lesson is all about passive of ditransitive. And remember, in my previous class I have already discussed the very uses of passive structure actually in future perfect tense. And today what I have already said, passive of ditransitive. So don't be late, let's start the lesson, and hope you will watch my video till the very end, not skipping my video. Okay, so start the very lesson for today. Learn voice part 9 or class 9 also. Passive of ditransitive. Ditransitive, remember, sometimes a verb takes two objects in a sentence and the sentence is called object with two objects or ditransitive. For example, there are some examples given by me in the following. The very first one, she had told me stories. Okay, she is the subject here. She subject, had is the verb, had told, it tells us that the sentence is given in past perfect tense. Okay, me is one object and stories is another object. And the very me is indirect object IO and the stories is direct object. Okay, next one is Rama has given me a book. Rama is the subject. Has given tells us that the sentence is given. Has given tells us that the sentence is given in present perfect tense. Has given, and me is one object and a book is another object. Okay, a book is the direct object and me is the indirect object. Next one is Mr. Sannal taught me English. Okay, Mr. Sannal is the subject. Taught, it tells us the sentence is in past indefinite. Me is one object and it's an indirect object. Okay, and English is the direct object. Okay, I have already told you that the very sentences have two objects, direct and indirect. Then you must know about the very definitions of direct and indirect object also. Direct object, if the verb is asked using what and the answer will get is called direct object. It's very easy to remember. Actually, we have to ask the very verb using what and the answer we will get is called direct object. The very first one is she had told me stories. She had told me stories. Then what had she told me? The answer will stories. Then it's the direct object. Actually, we have to answer the very verb using what. And the indirect object is also there. The definition of if the verb is asked using whom and the answer, okay, and the answer we will get is called indirect object. Then we have to ask the very verb using whom and the answer we will get is called indirect object. Then see the very first one, she had told me stories. Then what? She had told me stories. Okay, whom had she told stories? Then me. The answer will be me. Then it will be indirect object. In the same way as the very question by yourself using what and whom, and see why is it an indirect object and it's a direct object. Mr. Sannal taught me English in this respect also. Okay, then you have already understood the very definition of direct object and indirect object. Next one, retained object. If the sentence is given in active voice with two objects, we have to take any object as subject in the passive out of the two. You have already learned that. Active voice, actually in active voice, sometimes a verb takes two objects and out of the two, we have to take any one as subject in the passive. one subject is remained as subject object in the passive. Okay, and it is called retained object. What is retained object? The very object which remained same in the passive also is called a retained object. Okay, let's solve the very first one. She had told me stories. We have to talk any one out of the two as subject in the passive. She had told me, had told tells us that it's in past perfect tense. Then we have to use had been as auxiliary verb. Then suppose stories, we have to take stories. Then write stories. Stories have been told. Third form of the verb. Stories have been told to me by her. Remember, it's a passive one, and if the very sentence starts using direct object, then we have to use to after the verb. But without to is also right in modern grammar. If there is no to, it will be also a correct one. Then stories have been told to me by her. Okay, it's a great mistake by me. There will be no have because there is had. Then stories had been. Okay, it's not a present perfect. Stories had been told to me by her. Okay, next take the me as subject. Me becomes I. Then I had been. Third form of the verb tell, told. I had been told stories by her. Okay, it's right. Then we have to write anyone to make the sentence as passive. Next one. Rama has given me a book. Okay, take a book as subject. A book. A book has been given to me by Rama. I have already said that if there is no to, when we are going to make the sentence a passive one, and if we start the very sentence using the very direct object, it's also right. A book has been given to me by Rama, or a book has been given me by Rama. Next one, I was given, sorry, I have been. Why is it I have been? Because has given is in present perfect tense. Then we have to use has been or have been after the subject. I always takes have. Then I have been given a book by Rama. Next, Mr. Shannan taught me English. Solve in this way. English was taught to me. English was taught to me by Mr. Sannan. Next one you have to solve. I was taught English by Mr. Sannan. Okay, these are the very definition, written object, direct object, and indirect object. Some changes. I gave Ram an English book. I gave Ram an English book. I is the subject in this very sentence. Gave is the verb in past indefinite tense. Ram is an object, and English book also is an object in this very sentence. Ram, direct, not indirect object, and an English book, it's direct object. Remember, direct object always becomes inanimate object, or indirect object, it always becomes animate object. Okay, I gave Ram an English book on his birthday. The very change one, an English book was given to Ram. Without to, it's also right. An English book was given to Ram by me. Why is there was? Because past indefinite tense. Actually, in past indefinite tense, we have to use was or were after the subject to make the sentence into a passive. And I think you have already watched my previous videos regarding voice. Ram was given an English book by me. Next one, Mr. Das has taught me English. See the very active structure. Mr. Das, subject, has taught, present perfect tense, me, indirect object, English, direct object. Then the changes, English has been taught to me by Mr. Das, or I have been taught English by Mr. Das. She gives me two chocolates. Two chocolates are given to me by her. Why is there are? Actually, the very active sentence is given in present indefinite or simple present. Simple present tense. Okay. Then simple present tense, in case of simple present tense, when we are going to make the simple present tense into a passive one, we have to use am, is, are as optional to make the sentence passive. Then two chocolates are, there is no am or is. Two chocolates are given to me by her. Again I am saying there is no to or without to, it's also right. And with to also right. I am given two chocolates by her.